Hey everybody, Ruboy here coming at you with a brand new video. And this time we're going to talk a little bit about ripping audio from vinyls. That's right, in this video you're going to learn how to take audio from the vinyls that maybe your parents have, your grandparents have, or shoot, maybe you just got some because you like it. Hey, I dig it. So with today, I'm going to take you through each step from getting your vinyls and cleaning them up, to setting up your vinyl, to actually bringing it over into a program to digitize it, and then starting a remix process. So very excited to take you through today. Let's get it done. Alrighty y'all, so a little bit of story time before we get into our video. Back in the day, my family was very much into music. My uncle in particular used to manage a very popular band by the name of Heart. I actually have a great photo I'll have to show you sometime of him on their private jet. It was super cool. So what inspired me to look into this today was actually the fact that, hey, I got some vinyls that I inherited from some family. Let's see if we can't find some weird ones in here that we can make into absolute bangers. So let's get in. What up y'all? Going to the next part of the video here, I'm gonna break down each step that it takes in order for you to gain audio from a vinyl. Right off the bat, what's the first thing you're gonna need? Well, you're gonna need a vinyl. Now, here's the thing. There are vinyls all over the place. Yeah, there are some rare ones. Yeah, there's some ones that are no longer in circulation. But the best place to probably get vinyls that isn't gonna totally break the bank is probably from people who are just trying to get rid of them. We actually got 2 full boxes of vinyls purely from asking people, hey, you got any vinyls that you don't want anymore? Perfect. And wouldn't you know it, we got some diamonds in the rough when it comes to some of these albums. First one I'm gonna show you, Heart. Big fan of these guys, gals, sorry. My uncle used to manage this band, as I told you about earlier, and they have something a little close to my heart. If you haven't heard this band before, really check them out. Barracuda, Crazy on You, huge great hits that have really helped to define female singing and the next generation beyond it. So highly recommend checking y'all out. Great pick. So once you get your vinyls, you have to realize vinyls are fantastic. It is some of the best audio you're ever gonna hear as long as you got the right equipment. But the biggest thing that happens with a lot of these vinyls that a lot of people get all screwed up about is they don't clean them properly. And then what happens when you try to record? Well, it sounds just awful. So today, I'm also gonna show you how we clean them. Now, this is a record cleaner. Best way to get one of these is usually through Amazon. You can find a pretty great deal. I'll have a link right here on where to find it, as well as what I got. But it's a pretty straightforward mechanism. What you have here is a pool that includes water along with a chemical that helps with the cleaning process. Fill it up to about here. You put in 2 caps of the cleaner, and from there you go ahead and you put in the vinyl. So I'm actually going to show you how this process works with one of these albums here. Let's see. Some of these are actually quite old, as you can see. Ooh, well that's pretty cool. Mushroom. All right. Okay, so we have our vinyl here, right? So the interesting part about vinyls is how the music is played is by having a little reticle that comes out and then plays the bumps that are on the actual vinyl. So the interesting part is that if you don't have this well done, or if it's dirty or whatever, your audio is just not gonna come through correctly. So you have to clean it. So bringing it in here, very easy stuff. There's a roller here, and then there's a little space in here for where it actually gets cleaned. So we're gonna put this in, bring that down, making sure it's all set. And then there's basically 2 things you need to do. The first is to rotate it 3 times clockwise. And then afterwards, you rotate it 3 times counterclockwise. So let's just see how that goes. Now here's the interesting part as well. I know I say that a lot. When you're doing this, whatever you do not touch the inside of the vinyl. That is totally defeating the purpose of cleaning it, since you'll probably just get more of your finger spots on them, which can affect the audio. So we're gonna keep moving this around, use the edge. Even better would probably use gloves, but I don't have any, you know, COVID ran, it's dry. So we're gonna go ahead and keep going through. We'll see that's 1. I'm just looking at the mushroom to get a good sense of where I'm at. Keep moving it, keep moving it. All right, we'll call that 2. We'll keep going, we'll keep going, we'll keep going. And now we're getting to number 3. Wonderful. So, don't do that. Now we're gonna move to the left. So let's go ahead. 1. Okay, maybe not moving nearly as fast. It's actually a little more stuck than you'd think. So you wanna give as least amount of resistance for that little indicator. I'm so sorry, I'm kind of butchering this, but we'll just do it this way. You just really wanna make sure, there we go, that you get these nice and clean and dry, because that will make a big difference on the audio quality. And I'm not sure if you can see it right now, but this thing used to have smudges all over it, and it is real clean, looking great. I do need to get that middle part though, so don't recommend doing it this way, obviously. So we're gonna go ahead, go counterclockwise, clean that bad boy up. All right, looking good, looking great actually. We're gonna move that around, counterclockwise again. All right, there we go. Okay, and now we have a clean vinyl. Sweet. All right, so for the next step, guess what you need? Well, you need a turntable. That's where you actually play the vinyls from. So what we're gonna be using today is actually the Sonos Project turntable. Now, I'm a bit of a, what some might call a Sonos slut, but I do love the quality while also managing the app preferences and making it so easy to connect to things. Like I can play this thing on Bluetooth, who would have thought? You don't have to buy a super expensive one like this one. You can get a much cheaper one, probably very easily on Amazon, but you do want to make sure that you get one component that may not be included with most turntables, and that is the phono output. That is incredibly important to make sure that you can decipher the information in the song to your computer. So this one actually has it built in, which is extremely helpful. You'll notice that we're using a different vinyl than what we had used before, because I previously cleaved this one and thought, hey, what the heck? It's Fleetwood Mac, y'all gonna love it anyway. So now that we have that all ready to go, we have it plugged in, got this vinyl in here, it's clean, it's ready, perfect. So the next step you need to do is you need to connect this guy to your computer. Best way to do that is get an RCA, most likely turntable is gonna have an RCA or a line out, RCA or line out to line in. So basically what that means, you've seen your headphones, right? Back in the day when they had jack outputs, you want that. Now, normally I like to use my laptop, but my laptop doesn't have a line in input, which is very important. Line out means information is going out. Line in means information's coming in. So if we take that and then we bring that line out into the line in the back of the computer, our computer will be able to read it. So make sure you have that set up. I'll show you real quick what that looks like so you're not feeling too lost. So you see here, RCA. Oh wow, you can't see that at all. So this is what I'm talking about. This is an RCA. You've probably seen these if you're a millennial or older. Probably saw these while you were plugging in a VHS, a DVD player, or a game, some kind. So you have your left, white, right, that is red. Plug those into the back. This then transfers over into a headphone jack. Line in, right? So plug this into the turntable, plug this into the back of the computer, and you start it. Now here's the next step. And probably one of the coolest parts. I'm gonna show you some free software that you can use to take the audio from this one and record it. Let's get started. So in getting started, when you're trying to rip audio from a vinyl, you'll need a program that can digitize the inputted audio that is coming into your computer. So my recommendation is using something called Audacity. Audacity is a free program that is crowdsourced that allows you to do such a thing, as well as several other really cool features. So for today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get this started, where we're going to record an input. Now, as you can see right now, record's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Stop it. You'll know it when it's working because you'll start to get the little sound input. So if you give me just a quick moment, I'm gonna go ahead and press play on this bad boy so that way I can show you how it works. Alrighty, now that I have it in there, we're gonna go ahead and hit record. And as you can see, we're starting to get little rumblings here. This is there's points in between a vinyl where there are breaks, right, in between songs. So now you can start to see the song starting. You'll see that these little indents, those are just impurities within the vinyl. Some people like to think that it adds some character to it. I also agree. It can be a little bit difficult when you're mixing and mastering, but this is a great way to do it. Now, the one thing I've noticed is that I can't listen to it while I'm going through it, so you kind of have to just wait for it to be done. So it'll take some time to record everything. Best way to know when it's done is when the audio file goes flat again. So we'll just sit here, wait it out a little bit, but a few things I want to talk to you about real quick. So whether you use something like FL Studio or Ableton or Reaper or what have you, after we record this information, it records out a WAV file. So the importance of that is that we can then drag that WAV file into our DAW in order to start remixing. So once we get this all downloaded and you have it within a file, it's really easy. All you got to do is drag and drop. So that makes it really straightforward in getting the actual audio. Now, that being said, there are probably out here people that are smarter than me that can tell you that there are ways to improve the audio before you get into the studio. Please take the information from them. This is, for me, something that I'm passionate about but still not an expert on. I just want to make sure y'all have enough information in order to do it yourself. But please comment, like the comments, actually, especially, and explain this in more depth from some people who could probably give you a better idea. But as we go through, one of the cool parts about getting this type of audio is that you have to realize we live in a digital era. In a digital era, things are no longer owned by us. Back in the day, you owned a cassette, you owned a vinyl, you owned a CD. So that was yours. It was your song that you got from an artist that you could play whenever you wanted and do with what you ever want. Now with Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, things of that nature, that's changed. It is no longer owned by you. The difficulty with that is that you're basically paying for something that you don't get to keep. So at any point, they can take away that audio. It wasn't that long ago that Crosby, Stills, and Nash, Nash in particular, didn't want his music on Spotify due to some difficulties or due to some disagreements with how the platform was ran, and so their music was gone. The only way to be able to get that music again was to pay for it direct. So if you had Spotify and you wanted to listen to Nash, you couldn't. So this is why I think it's really important to take things like CDs or vinyls or something like that, record that music, because you never know where things are going to be at in the next 10, 20 years. You might as well own it, have it available, and you can do with it what you want. DJs, this is even better, because instead of having to go to Beatport or buy the songs, you can actually just rip these songs, take them, and you already know the key, you know the information, that's all on the internet. You take that information, you put it into your, like a Serato or something along those lines, and then you can layer that on top of some similar song that can have a crazy beat. I tried this out recently and it actually worked super well. It was a lot of fun doing it, and I actually used at that point Foghat, and I mixed it, I believe, with a Knock 2 song, Chef's Kiss. It worked out super well. So that is another great reason. If you're not a music producer, don't worry. This is actually a great process to use, even if you're a DJ, to have what you need. All right, and when you look at that, I talked your ear off while we were waiting. So now we're done. I'm going to pause that here, and I'm also going to go ahead and stop the vinyl from recording, putting that away so that we have the audio. So now that we have the audio, we're going to go ahead and we're going to find it where it should be, which should be in the file that we have this for. Yeah, Mom's Music, check them out. Let's see, Audacity, there we are, and looks like we have it. It'll usually be in this area. So for this one, I recorded some previously in advance, and I'll tell you what, I wanted to show you one in particular. Let's save that. I'm going to save to your computer. Let's just, I don't even know what song this was. Unknown song from Fleetwood. All right, so now we have there, and there it is. You can save it as a WAV file, which helps much more often. I just saved that just to make it easy as a reference piece. I can always come back to it. But now that we have that, I use FL Studio. Absolutely love it. I think it's really cool. I think it's straightforward. I think it's a great program. I've learned a lot through it. And it literally is as easy as this. Going to grab the song and, oh, just kidding. And I throw it right on there. There it is. Right? Now we have audio from the song in our DAW, and we can start to mess around with that, which is a lot of fun. Now here's a new feature that came out on FL Studio that I actually think is incredibly sweet. There are some programs outside of FL Studio that do this, so this isn't the only place that you can get it, but you can extract the stems from the sample. So what that means is that it will take the drums, the instruments, the bass, and the vocals and separate them for you. Now for me personally, I like to keep the vocals. I think the vocals are what make these songs what they are, since most songs generally only have a few chords anyway. And then you take those vocals and then you match them up with the key of which they're in, so that way you can create some chords. And then you also try to match it with your drums. Now, I highly recommend, I've done this a few times now, and the difficulty with trying to match it by key right off the bat is that a singer might not stay in key. They might not stay on beat in particular. I mean, shoot, this was the 70s. So I like to start with matching it with the beat. Get a kick,
find out the tempo of what the song is. That's very easy. Just go online. You can find the tempo very easily. Set that right up here so that way it's accurate. And then match it to the beat. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to cut up these vocal slices in order to match with the 4-bar pattern. It's not particularly hard. Yes, it is a little tedious, but the nice part about it is that you're going to come out with some really, really cool audio that's going to, I don't know, shoot, maybe be the voice of a new generation. We don't know. But as we get this done, I want to show you here, it's just about finished processing. There we are. So now you'll see we have, and I'll actually highlight this for you, we now have drums, bass, instruments, and vocals. Finally, you can hear the audio, which give it a second. I've been alone. There we go. All right, so now we have it. So that's fantastic, right? Now we have what we need in order to start remixing. What I generally like to do is I like to get rid of this guy, and I like to go ahead and mess around with these a little bit, but I actually went ahead and did that earlier. So I'm going to show you what I have so far. So funny thing, you're gonna like. So when I was doing this, I thought I was recording the song Sugar Daddy by Fleetwood Mac. I was wrong, because I wasn't reading the vinyl correctly. So instead, we recorded this song called I'm So Alone. And I thought, well, shoot, it's the guy singing, which we don't hear about that often. Like, why wasn't that guy singing more often? Yeah, Stevie Nicks is a generational talent and a fantastic singer, but at the same time, their earlier stuff had more of him singing. So I went ahead and I spent like, I don't know, a good amount of time on the first few seconds, right? Like, let's give it a quick hear on what this sounds like. Right? So obviously it doesn't sound super hot. I'm gonna go ahead and take off just some of the stuff here that I was kind of messing around with. I'm not on my regular music producing computer, so I don't have a lot of the plugins I like. These are just stock. I was kind of just messing around to play around with it. But let's go ahead and take those off and you can hear what it sounds like. Chop these up so that way you can match with the kick, and I think you'll hear that as we go through. I've been alone all the year, so many ways to count the tears. Little gap here. I'll never change, I never will. I'm so afraid. Okay, so you might have caught that for a second, but I really want to highlight this. When I was listening to it at first, I thought, well, you know, this guy isn't a great singer, but I can probably make it work. I've seen a lot of people just talk into microphones and make that into an entire song. Because I tell you what, one of the interesting parts about getting this all together is that the effects you can put in a music DAW system are pretty insane. Like, you can make talking sound like, shoot, Dua Lipa. It's that insane. So I really thought, like, yeah, I could probably fix this. I can make it sound good. It'd be original. It'd be nice. But you can't fix something that is so broken. It wasn't good to begin with. So how can you fix something that was never good? So let me just play this again, and I think you'll pick up exactly when I figured out that not only is this unsalvageable, but I understand why Stevie Nicks was the sole singer of the band. All right, let's go ahead. I've been alone all the years, right? So many ways to count the tears. I'll never change, I never will. I'm so afraid the way I feel. Days when the rain and the sun are gone, I'll be back as night. Agony's holding my heart too long. I'm so afraid, I'm slipping and falling and dying. So, as you can tell, I started to throw in some stuff there. Hopefully this won't happen to you, but yeah, that was quite literally one of the worst recordings of vocals I've ever heard. So, learn from my mistake, check out the song before you start spending any time on it, and then you can do something cool. All right, everybody. So, this is the end of the video on learning how to rip audio from a vinyl into your computer and into your DAW. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to take some vocals from a really cool song and remix it into something super tight. Alrighty, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I tell you what, come at me with some requests. I have a ton of vinyls. I've got a ton of different music. Shoot, I can even take it from SoundCloud. So if there's anything in particular you'd like to see me do, like, I don't know, take Pink Pony Club and make it into something sweet, let me know. I'd be more than happy to. Shoot me a comment, shoot me a message, like, subscribe. I appreciate you. Let's do this together.